media news. Remember that if you want to be a part of this tech conversation, you can find us on SABC Network. That's on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Use network at sabc.co.za on email. You can also use the hashtag SABC Network. Here's what's coming up in the program. We tell you about 5G field test trials in South Africa. It's the first such test in Africa. Huawei has launched what is to be the most expensive phone in South Africa. They say it's for an exclusive market. And our discussion is on Swahili being recognized by Twitter. It becomes the first African language with that honor on the platform. Nelisa Ngulana from PR Trends ZA is in studio for that one. Hello and welcome to Network, Nelisa.
Hi, Smulele.
Should you be celebrating?
Not really.
Not really?
No.
All right, you'll tell us more about that later in the program. But first, let's start with the technology and social media news. We are constantly getting more connected machines. The future will have driverless cars, flying taxis are being tested, and machines will be everywhere. 5G technology will make this possible. In South Africa, MTN and Huawei piloted 5G technology in Pretoria. It's going to be a while yet before we see 5G technology being deployed in South Africa. There are parts of the world that will start utilizing it in less than 2 years. This type of technology is needed for a better connected future.
It has multiple applications, and the beauty of the new technology is exactly like that. So you can think about pervasive IoT, which is mostly driven from the corporate business today, but you can think about small and medium enterprises. So for example, fiber lookalike services deployed very, very quickly and very efficiently, applications for the home as well, and also in the broader space like smart security, smart environment, smart agriculture, and so on and so forth.
The reason it will take some time to roll out in South Africa is mostly because of the spectrum that's held up by the delay in the digital migration of television. The Independent Communications Authority of South Africa is hoping things will move faster.
There are still matters of standardization, the frequency, bandwidth that we have to consider for 5G, like the 700 for coverage in rural areas, with 700 right now is occupied by broadcasters. Then of course you have the 3.2 to 3.8, by which you mean that you are including 3.7 in that bandwidth. Now 3.7 is utilized currently for the C-band transmission to the satellite. So we'll have to consider what then needs to be done in that respect.
In Pretoria, MTN, in partnership with Huawei, did Africa's first 5G field test.
We are starting the trials in order to understand better how to apply the new technology to the new services.
MTN says in Africa, 5G rollout is likely to start in South Africa because of the infrastructure here. In Tunisia, they've embarked on 4.5G trials. Huawei has launched what is now the most expensive phone in South Africa. The posh design Huawei Mate RS costs 26,500 rand. Last year, Huawei released its first posh design smartphone in South Africa. They have utilized the design that's in posh vehicles. This is a fashion item.
It's something you can truly be proud of holding, and it makes a statement from a fashion sense. So that's one. But when I say about innovation and technology, this is the first device in the world to have an in-screen fingerprint sensor. So under the screen itself, and we know many competitors are still trying to get that right. We've now launched it with this device, along with a rear fingerprint sensor and face unlock. So you've got triple security, which comes in very handy. We've got wireless charging that's on this device. You've got a curved screen. So it's a lot of, and we've got our artificial intelligence that we've embedded, that we've done last year with our Mate 10 Pro, and our amazing award-winning triple camera, like a camera system.
Those that have tried it say they love most of its features.
It's an interesting looking device, slick, reminds me a little bit of the Samsung, the look and feel as well. Looks your P20 on steroids with a bit of posh design.
Kind of disappointed with the look and feel for it, you know what I mean? When I held the phone in my hand, it just reminded me of my Samsung S9. So I kind of feel like they did the bezeling and the whole curve at the end, and that's all. But overall, the 3 cameras, it's no more much of a turn on for me. It's really just an extra feature now. But the one great thing is that I like the 3-point security check. That is quite dope with the fingerprint in front. I mean, literally, that is quite cool. You can have your thumb, have all your fingers now actually active, and you use your phone.
The price tag is at about 26,500 Rand. Some of those here say that amount is too high.
I think the only challenge they'll have is the price tag. I mean, 26k for a phone in South Africa. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see if they'll reach the targets they've set for themselves.
26k is too much for a device. As much as the device does have all the bells and whistles and every single thing a person will want on their phone, but looking at budgets right now, 26k will not be. Even if it's on contract, I don't feel like I can't afford that much.
Well, they did say it's for an exclusive market. Huawei says it's only available on the MTN network. As issues of security online intensify, Democrats from the House of Intelligence Committee in America have released what they say are thousands of ads that were run on Facebook by the Russia-based Internet Research Agency. They say these were on the platform in 2015, 2016 and 2017. They say they will still release more content that was shared by the agency on the platform. What many are asking now is the impact that these had on people. We know that lawmakers in Europe are tightening things and forcing Facebook to change how it does business. In Africa, many countries still don't have cybersecurity laws. In America, they say there were ads in the previous elections that were uploaded on Facebook to sway the way people would vote. Facebook says it's filtering a lot that could hamper the way people think and jeopardize security. Now, after the break, we chat to Nelly Sangulana from PR Trends ZA about Twitter recognizing Swahili. Stay with us.
Well, today we discuss the general practitioner or GP.
So the quality of the doctors coming through our medical schools is excellent.
Your GP is your family doctor. Your GP is your first point of care.
Who determines how much a consultation fee should be?
We set up networks of general practitioners, and one of the conditions of the network was to agree to charge a certain fee.
Specialists are specialists. We can't take away their role. We can't take away what they do for each patient in their disease entity.
Our specialist colleagues as well don't appreciate patients coming straight off the street, as it were, to see them. They're highly trained.
For health tips that will help you to adopt healthy living, catch Health Talk every Saturday from 9 to 10.
How safe is social media? 25 years into democracy and we're still battling with apartheid. Are we really the so-called rainbow nation?
If we can go there, they will beat us something or chase us away. Kill you also. Or kill you.
Not forgetting the dangers of substance abuse.
When he brought those things and came to us, it was looking so tasty with crushed lemons and strawberry and colorful straws.
Importance of education for all. Is the judiciary and government failing the people of South Africa? These are some of our stories on Cutting Edge. Catch it every Sunday at 5:30.
Technology is used for both positive and negative. Some governments block the internet in times of protest.
With this internet blackout, it's impossible for me to do it, so I have to travel to Douala.
This act is a true violation of the rights of citizens.
In Africa, people are always coming up with innovative ways to use technology to solve some of their problems.
The more interesting piece of technology is actually the artificial intelligence.
AI, it's utilizing data to make your life easier.
On Network, we'll give you Africa's technology and social media news.
Catch Network with Skumelele Zondi every Saturday at 8:30 p.m.
It is SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. It's News Network at sabc.co.za on email. Thank you very much for staying with the program. Now, Swahili has become the first African language to be recognized by Twitter. Until now, it would be identified as one of the Asian languages. This still happens when one types in other African languages. To discuss the significance of this is Nelisa Ngulana, founder of PR Trend ZA. Hello, and thank you very much for being a part of our network.
Hi, Spumelele. Thanks for having me.
Now, Nelisa, you said we shouldn't be celebrating earlier in the program. Why should we not be celebrating?
Because the reason why Twitter actually decided to recognize Swahili was due to an online campaign that was started in Kenya to force them to recognize Swahili. So they didn't, they had to be put under pressure in order for them to do that. And the other second thing is that Twitter has more than 35 offices across the world and none in Africa. And they have millions and millions of users here. There are more than 2,000 languages in the continent, and this is the only one that they're recognizing. So it says a lot about what they think.
So you think they think Africa is not important?
They do think we're important because they do have sales partners here, so they do make money from the continent. From that perspective, they recognize us, but I don't think as a community, I don't think they're paying enough attention to us as a community.
What should they be doing?
Well, they should be investigating a lot more in terms of, understanding. They should understand which languages actually are prominent based on the use. I'm sure they've got the data in terms of who's using what where. In South Africa, there are apps like Chomi, which allow users to communicate in all languages. So they should be able to pick up the patterns in terms of what are people doing. And secondly, regional presence says a lot about how they value the community and doing business in the continent. Facebook is all over the continent. They've got quite a specific presence here. So that would help in terms of kind of showing that they're interested in this community. The second thing is around privacy and understanding what is termed as appropriate or inappropriate content. Usually a lot of people will ban things like if there's a reed dance and there are ladies who are half naked. Let's
talk about that, because that's not just Twitter, hey.
It's a problem across. People started reporting it on Facebook, and Facebook has opened it up. So there needs to be better understanding of what does a region look like? What are how the way they do business, does it make sense here? And does a platform actually accommodate its users here? Because they've got millions and millions of users in the continent.
When it comes to, you mentioned the reed dance, where young maidens would be bare-breasted. It's their culture. There have been quite a few who've tried to share their photographs on platforms like Instagram. What often happens when they do that?
If they get marked as inappropriate, so they will then be, then you can't see them. Because then they would treat them the same way as they would pornographic images, for example. So I guess perhaps algorithms can't tell, obviously, between what's pornographic or what's not. So then they would put them down immediately when that kind of content is out there. So I guess it's perhaps a way to filter better what the content that specifically comes from the continent.
Facebook and Google and other tech companies have opened offices in Africa, and they have said that Africa is a region that they realize there's going to be a lot of internet growth and therefore a lot of growth for their businesses. Do then other social media networks not realize this? Do they not realize that there's going to be internet growth in Africa?
I mean, it's more than just also about internet growth. We have a young continent, I mean, age-wise, so that means the potential for growth in our continent is far higher than, any other part of the world. Doesn't make sense for me why they don't have a presence here when they have millions, literally. I mean, in South Africa alone, there's more than 8 million users. That's just here alone. Kenya is probably much more than we are, as the most tech-savvy users in the continent. So it doesn't make sense.
And what should others now do if they want their languages to be recognized? You said Kenyans went on a campaign for Swahili to be recognized.
I guess, I mean, we need to, I mean, from one end, we need to just keep using the languages. For Swahili, it made sense because there's more than 150 million people in the continent that use the language, and it cuts across regions in the East and Central Africa. So there was a better case to be made. So, for example, for like Xhosa, for example, we're like very small subset in a very specific part of the region. So, yeah, we're probably going to have to petition. We're probably going to have to petition.
Well, I don't know. In Nguni languages, there are many words that cut across the different languages.
Yes,
Swazi,
so
Zulu, Xhosa, Ndebele.
Yeah, so they perhaps need to map out a little bit more and pay a little bit of attention to their data, because I'm sure that's coming through. So that's definitely a consideration they should be making.
All right. Nelisa Ngolana, thank you very much for joining us. Now, we also caught up with actor J.T. Midupi, known for his role on Generations. He told us what his favorite app is.
J.T. Midupi, I'm a voiceover artist and actor. My favorite app on my phone right now is Instagram, because I think I'm addicted to it. I love posting photos of myself, photos of what I do, my work, videos. It's quite a fun app at the moment. I also use it to network, so people across the world can see who I am and what I'm about, and then they get to like, and they follow or they don't follow, it doesn't matter. But I'm loving Instagram right now.
Corruption both in the public and the private sectors needs to be combated.
Where there are clear cases of wrong that has been done, that must commence immediately.
Something is being done about corruption in our
currency, even although it's strengthened dramatically after the ANC's recent elective conference, could conceivably go stronger yet.
He had a soul that would not be for sale.
Stay tuned to Your World for your final news roundup, Monday to Sunday at 21:30.
Let's cross over live to Griselda Lewis, who is standing by at the arbitration hearings.
But I didn't think about it at the time that people could be dying.
Let's update your sports news.
Get all the dominating stories locally and globally on Newsroom every Monday to Friday from 9 a.m.
It is SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. News Network at sabc.co.za on email. Thank you very much for being with us tonight. Now, Google plans to launch a method that orders food for you, and video games continue to do well. These are some of the top tech stories from the rest of the world in the last week.
Let's start in America, where Alphabet Inc.'s Google has showed off an updated virtual assistant that can call restaurants, hair salons, and other businesses to check hours and make reservations.
Sounds good.
The VR technology holds conversations on a user's behalf.
Our vision for the perfect assistant is that it's naturally conversational, it's there when you need it, so that you can get things done in the real world. We want the assistant to be something that's natural and comfortable to talk to. And to do that, we need to start with the foundation of the Google Assistant, the voice.
The technology is called Duplex. Google also said that it was expanding the ability of the assistant to order food from restaurants.
One of the biggest problems we are tackling with AI is the Google Assistant. Our vision for the perfect assistant is that it's naturally conversational, it's there when you need it, so that you can get things done in the real world.
The updates reflect Google's plan to add artificial intelligence to more of its services.
Hey Google! Hi, what can I do for you?
Still in America, a video game called Fortnite is keeping kids indoors, and they're not scared of spending on the video game too. This is 13-year-old Jet Sacher.
It's like a bonding thing almost. It's like you really get to play, you really get to like be immersed and in the same like action with your friends. It's cool. It's like you're not physically with them, but it feels like you are, and I think that's one of the things that's cool about it.
Fortnite's publisher Epic Games is now worth $4.5 billion according to Jefferies analyst Tim O'Shea.
My understanding is the game is monetizing at roughly a $2 billion a year run rate. And for some perspective, that puts it up there with, these major Star Wars movie box office global worldwide will be $1.5 to $2 billion. So these are big numbers that Fortnite is putting up right now. In terms of users, they had 40 million users, and that was in January. It's going to be much higher today.
Analysts say Microsoft Corp's Xbox and Sony's PS4 are also doing well, thanks to getting a slice of the in-game purchases and a boost in hardware for gaming. In Britain, there's a tech exhibition. From mirrors that can read your mood, to discs that can store data for billions of years. More than 100 objects are going on display in London, giving a glimpse of the world of tomorrow. So what would this future look like?
We asked the question, we're all connected, but do we feel lonely? In a context where our homes are equipped with algorithms that learn about our preferences, learn what we like, and we could even say they learn to take care of us and to love us to some extent. What does it mean to live in a house like that?
Well, they say robots can learn to love us. Now, this week on Twitter, we are asking you if you agree with Spotify's decision to make R. Kelly's music difficult to find. They say this is because of abuse allegations. Now, 29% of you are saying yes. There is 35% who are saying no, and 15% say it should be removed completely. There's also 21% of respondents who are asking, why is this being done now? And that's all we have for you. Find us on SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. News Network at sabc.co.za on email. From me and the rest of the network team, have a good one. We leave you with visuals of those video games that are becoming popular. Bye-bye.